Hey guys, Kristen Marie Miller here. I'm slowly going to do Sisterwives recap. Now, I don't want to really call it a recap because all we're seeing is their candid interviews. It's called part one, and then part two is next week. And it's this woman who is interviewing every wife and Cody about this breakdown of their marriages. Basically, Christine leaving, the divorce. I was watching it in the middle of doing my hair and makeup, and I didn't even finish my hair, so don't mind this. I got so triggered by this that I had to come on here and do it now. So, what I'm playing first is this conversation with Mary. It's about what Christine said last year about how she felt hated, and it's like the beginning of when we realized Christine wasn't happy. Which, again, I've said last week in my recap that this is what I suspected the entire time. The 18 years I've been watching, right? And year 15, 16 comes, and I'm thinking, okay, like, I'm deflecting, I'm projecting, like, it's just me. I'm never going to understand it. And then I thought I finally did. And I thought, okay, like, I accepted this whole thing. And I'm like, Cody's not controlling. The women control him. They're happy like this. They're accepting of this. This is the kind of marriage they want. I realize they probably do it to raise a family. It's easier to raise them with more women in the house. I don't really agree with it. But I was like, okay, Christine's secure. And Mary's insecure, which I kind of figured out. But let me just stick with Janelle, Robin, and Christine, okay? They're secure. They're okay with plural marriage, or polygamy, whatever it is, and that's it. I mean, they have well-rounded children. All their children they have raised, the ones that are married and have kids, they're all very well-rounded. None of them live polygamy, but that's fine. I didn't think they would. They always said they never would. And like, if you see what we're watching now... everything we thought, like, I thought these were, like, this family, the Browns, I thought that they were the last great polygamous family that actually did it right. They've been together for over 20-some years, all of them. And then we come to find out how miserable they've been. And Cody has single-handedly lost almost every single one of his wives, except for Robin, who we know is now the one who... is the last person he married. She's number 4. I kept saying 5 last week. It was number 4. Yeah, I can't count. He has 4 wives. He is never going to be back with Mary. We know this. Mary doesn't know this, but the rest of us know this. He's, I guess, still with Janelle. Christine has divorced him as of now. This is what I'm talking about now, though. This is the beginning of when she decided to leave, I guess. So let me just play a little of this, and then I'm going to tell you guys how I feel.
What's going through your mind when she's revealing this? Robin's face was pure shock.
Yeah, it kind of
bullshit.
surprised
I call
me
bullshit.
that she was saying that. I didn't know that she felt like that, and yeah, I also understood those feelings because I felt like that before, and I think it's just a little bit of an insecurity that she was having, and
little bit.
Yeah, I have had as well.
At that point, when you knew that you could align with her emotions, right? Having had those insecurities before. Did you feel like you could talk to her and be like, hey, we've all been there before?
Yeah, and there were times that I did reach out to her during those times. I would send a text or try calling or whatever, and not always was that reciprocated.
That surprises
Did you feel
me.
like
I kind of thought that they would lean on each other the most.
The relationship kind of
because they're both in the same boat with Cody.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't know about
that's not something that I recognized in that
she's
moment.
lying.
You know, in that moment, I was just recognizing, like, what we were talking about, what Janelle brought up. Hey, where are we? Do we want to all be together? Do we want to work together? Like, since we've moved to Flagstaff,
this is
things
crazy.
are kind of weird.
Weird. It wasn't weird. Alright, here's Christine.
Already a lot of fractures, a lot of strain, a lot of stress. At that point, were you willing to work on your relationship with him and all the other sister wives to create and
this
keep
is very
this
telling.
together?
At that point at the dinner, yes. At that point at the dinner, I thought, you know what, this is a great wake-up call. And we have wonderful times together. And especially when the sister wives would get together, and not with Cody, that was super fun.
Not with Cody.
So this dinner was kind of like,
sorry guys.
Okay, I think that we really honestly can do this. It was kind of like a wake-up call. A little bit.
But then COVID happened.
Then COVID happened.
And then we became way more separate with COVID.
Coming up.
If you don't want to get this, then don't get exposure. If you don't want to get pregnant, just don't have sex.
Was he forcing you to make a choice?
He would love it if we chose what he chose.
The family group and the unity just...
That's wrong.
got thrown out the window because of a virus.
No, because of you, Robin. Okay, now, what I'm going to talk about first is Christine. What we just seen was exactly what we talked about last week. It seems to us that Cody has started punishing Christine a long time ago for her being unhappy, apparently. So this guy feels that, okay, from what I'm understanding, this is what my perspective on, and my opinion is what I understand right now of this marriage is, and it's polygamous, okay, of the Brown family. Now, what I seem to have come to the conclusion with Cody, is he is very controlling. He's always been very controlling. He just didn't show us on the outside. His wives have always said that they run these marriages and that they are happy and he does what they say. Come to find out that is not true. Cody is evil. He punishes his wives, okay? Now, I don't mean punish like physical punishment. He emotionally abandoned Mary, it seems like. Okay, now, Mary is the one who did the catfish. There was a catfish before, okay? Now, what I'm trying to get to is, I said I would do Christine first, but maybe I should just talk about Mary real quick. I just came to the conclusion with her that she still believes that her and Cody still have a chance. We know differently. I mean, he has said it to her repeatedly. He has told her there is no more marriage between you and I. You can still be a part of this family. You can still be a sister wife, but you are not going to be my wife, and I will not treat you as a wife. And he blames that on her wanting to leave him for the catfish situation that she was in. Now, if you look at it on the outside, on paper, yes, technically she was going to have an affair. She was going to leave Cody. She was unhappy. Really, when you go deeper, she's never been happy with this plural marriage. She said she was. She said she went into the marriage wanting plural marriage. She has now admitted that she was very jealous of Christine, and it only got worse with Janelle. So I wonder why she married him to begin with. Now, she says that they were very much in love, and the problem started when he married his second wife. Now, what the hell, Mary? I don't understand, because now he has repeatedly told you that he does not want to be with you. You are still allowed to be a part of this family. You are still a part of the family. That does not have to change. You can go find somebody else and be in an emotional marriage with another man and still be part of the family. You have done this already. You have not been with Cody in over 12 years. He has not been intimate with her, guys, in 12 years. She has been alone for 12 years. And I believe it started before the catfishing thing. So now, why Cody seems to think that divorcing his wives is not karmically, for his soul, acceptable. That's all he cares about. Now, he can emotionally abuse them. He can control them. He can say, we are married on paper, and that is okay with him. In the eyes of Source, who I call, or his God, as long as he's married on paper, that is okay. But he can treat all his wives like crap. I don't buy it, bull. It's bullshit. I don't buy it. Christine doesn't buy it either. I don't think Source wants you to have a marriage with one of your wives where you're emotionally abandoning the other ones, because that's what he does. Now, what I also find out here is that when you do something against Cody's wishes, now Cody's going to look at this catfish thing, and he was the perfect excuse to never be with her again. When he didn't want to be with her to begin with. Okay, he stopped wanting to be with her, I believe, when he married Janelle and Christine. Or she wouldn't have been looking for somebody else. Now, she still is saying to the interviewer and us, the viewers, why don't we understand why she's still there? We understand why you're still there in the family, Mary. We don't understand why you're still waiting for Cody, and you have gone 12 years without any physical intimacy, hoping and praying that you guys will be together again in a fully functional fellowship marriage. And you are not going to be back in fellowship marriage. He has told you that. And I just feel, and she says, they asked her why she still stays, and she said, because I love him. He does not love you anymore, and it's a shame, because I don't know why she's doing this to herself. But I'm hoping by the time this aired, which is now, that she has found somebody else. I don't know. She and her and Christine, I don't know why they haven't. I thought that they would be closer, because, the way I look at it is, I would think that if he's emotionally abandoned Mary, he did it to Janelle with COVID. We'll get into that. He definitely did it with Christine. And, he uses the excuse that they didn't obey his CDC rules and it was risk getting COVID. And we all know it's because of Robin. Now, Robin can cry all she wants. She can try to bullshit us all she wants. Cody and Robin are in this together. Cody and Robin, they want to be plural marriage. Or what is it? They want to be together, just them. They don't want these sister wives. Now, Robin is such a bullshitter because she acts as if she still wants the family together. She still wants the marriages together. All the marriages, not just hers. And she knows, now she does this passively aggressively because she knows that Cody is done with his other wives. He knows that he's done with Mary. He's been done with Mary. So she is the closest to Mary. Keep your enemies closer, right? And your friends closer, your enemies closer. She knows that Cody will never be with Mary. So she's closest to Mary. She brings Mary around because Mary is not a threat to her any longer. Now, Christine, on the other hand, it seems like Christine hates Robin. I really believe that. I believe that she has animosity towards her. I don't think... Now, Christine, we're going into Christine now because it was my main trigger point because I felt so bad for her. I even cried watching her last week. Now, this is gross. I'm going to drink my soda out of the bottle because, look, me and my husband live here by ourselves. We do this all the time, so don't be... Look, it's like really gross. Sorry, thirsty, and I don't feel like fucking stopping this and recording it. And I'm in 11 minutes and so I can curse. But anyway, okay. So we have Christine now, and she says that she has felt hated. The family doesn't like her, and it's been going on for about 12 years. They've been married for, I think, 18 at this point. This all started, I believe, with her feeling this way. Not when Robin entered the picture, but about, I think she's been there 18 years. At about 12 years ago, I think is when she realized the impact that Robin and the family would have on her marriage to Cody, and that's when it started going bad. And she realized that Robin probably wants Cody all to herself. She even said last week that her kids get upset when Cody leaves even for 2 days, which is when he sees his other wives. And they don't get it. Again, I say, that is on you, Robin. You took them out of plural marriage. Am I getting this fucked up? You took them out of a marriage when it's just you and one guy. And in a home with a father and a mother. I know you were divorced or whatever. But then you bring him into this family, who's a plural family. Oh, I get this messed up. To a polygamous family where he has more than one wife, more than one home, more than one set of children. They should, at that point, you should have explained to them what polygamy is. Now, if they have anxiety when he leaves, that's on you, girlfriend. That is on you. That is a goddamn shame that your kids get stressed out when he goes to see his other kids and family that he had first. But that's neither here nor there, Robin. We know your deal. We know your deal, girl. So, anyway, so we have Christine, who my heart bleeds for her. It seems that she looks very happy on social media. She's been, I think, with Aspen and Mitch, her older kids that are married. Seems like she's visiting them in North Carolina or South Carolina, where they are. She looks happy. She seems happy on the outside. I mean, she did admit last week. I mean, she was devastated. It looked like she's completely crushed. This fucking dude decided to punish her. Now, that's what I mean about punishment. Now, Cody will not divorce his wives on paper because he thinks with source that is karmically bad for his soul, and he doesn't want to have to feel that or deal with that when he crosses over. Like, okay, like I said, you emotionally abandon your wives. This is the other thing that he does. He's punishing Christine. He told her in the last year he's no longer attracted to her. Now, this, I believe, came from her not obeying his COVID guidelines. She was obeying CDC guidelines. Cody had his own set of guidelines so he could stay at Robin's. So he could have the excuse to stay at Robin's. Because he knew his other wives were not going to abandon their other children, and they weren't going to follow all his rules. Bullshit. I call bullshit, Cody. That's exactly what it was, and you and Robin did it together. You single-handedly made sure that your other wives felt abandoned. Okay? You know that Janelle's no threat. Okay, so let's back up to Janelle real quick. Janelle acts as if she doesn't know, she didn't realize that Christine was feeling this way. I don't see at this point how she couldn't feel that way or she couldn't figure that out because